All right. So recently, a certain Governor Tony Evers signed into law Wisconsin State Legislature 2025 AB 446. And there's been a lot of controversy associated with this bill. And I've got the text of this bill up in front. Most of this is pretty ignorable. It basically states that this bill provides that government entities, when deciding when something is a hate crime or legal discrimination, will use a certain definition of what it means to be anti Semitic. And then they've got some standard definitions and your standard disclaimer that nothing in this can interfere with your First Amendment right. So, the definition, which I'm going to highlight right here, that they're using, which basically just is it what it does is it defines when something is discriminatory, whether it's a hate crime or like an illegal law. The definition they're using is the one set forward by International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance on May 6th, 2016, which I happen to have up right here. This definition of anti-Semitism is pretty straightforward. Anti-Semitism is a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. Rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-Semitism are directed toward Jewish or non-Jewish individuals and their property, toward Jewish community institutions and religious facilities. Right. On the surface, that sounds perfectly fine, and I've noticed, especially on the left, there's been quite a lot of outrage about this bill. I think, though, that the vast majority of this bill is a nothing burger, except for one line that scares the absolute shit out of me. And here's why. This is definitely not the worst definition of anti-Semitism that I've ever read, because of this line right here. Manifestations might include the targeting of the State of Israel conceived as a Jewish collectivity. However, criticism of Israel similar to that leveled against any other country cannot be regarded as anti-Semitic, which, if you break that down and explain it, this is a common sense thing I think pretty much everybody would agree with. Like, you can hate Israel for trying to wipe out the Palestinian people. That is a very, very valid criticism. You can't hate Israel for being primarily populated by people of Jewish descent. Like, this is common sense. That is what separates anti Semitism from anti Zionism. And this does not state that you can't be anti Zionist. So most of the criticism, I think, is a nothing burger, except for one particular line here. Yes, this line right here is the scary one, and this is what I think we need to be focusing on opposing. Because whether this law is a complete nothing burger, which, giving lip service to AIPAC is not really what I need our governor to be doing right now, or an absolutely terrifying thing depends on how courts interpret this line. Denying the Jewish people their right to self-determination by claiming that the existence of the State of Israel is a racist endeavor. Now, I think this is a reasonable argument that you can say the current existence of the State of Israel is not necessarily a racist endeavor. Just wait. I see you shaking your head over there. Let me explain.
I was waiting for it because I was like, "Oh, Dane's about to pop."
Yeah, I'll give you a chance to pop off. Push back on me. I love that. Because most of the people, it's like saying that the existence of Wisconsin is a racist endeavor. Yes, like a lot of people did horrible things to the people that lived here to make this a part of the United States of America. But most of the people that live here actually had nothing to do with it. And I'd say that most citizens of the State of Israel had nothing to do with the horrible things that the State of Israel has done. But the founding of the State of Israel is absolutely 100% inseparable. Like, that is by definition a racist endeavor. You
You're also
define this
missing.
section.
So the second to last point is also an important one on here because it says drawing comparisons of contemporary Israeli policy to that of the Nazis. That, along with the one that you quoted, are the two that I find the most like. The rest of it, like you said, is pretty like understandable, but those 2 points, especially that one, because part of what people have been doing to show that the how bad the genocide is showing how Israeli policy toward the Palestinians does link up to Nazi policy.
Well, and hold how I find it very. How can you not say that it's not currently a racist endeavor? They are literally settling in the West Bank. They are like illegally annexing parts of the Golan Heights, which is in a different country and is illegal under international law.
Mhm.
And Israel is going in and just taking, like when the Assad regime fell, Israel came in and was just like snatching land. And then
Yep.
not
Yeah.
only that, they literally just this week passed a bill saying that it is okay to give only Palestinians the death penalty, and they are the only country
Yep.
that has passed a death penalty specifically for an
1 year.
ethnic minority and one group of the country since the Nazis. Like, that is an absolutely a racist endeavor. Like, it's an apartheid state.
Yeah.
They also label all of their non-Jewish population as Arab, even if they're in people groups that are not Arab. Like the
Right.
Persians are not Arabs. They're
Right,
Persians.
exactly.
And the Iranians
So,
in
I-
Israel
like-
are Arab.
Like, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying in like the fact that like, yeah, like you know, you like saying that like, you know, the US, like Wisconsin is racist. Like, I get that. But like, you know, Wisconsin obviously isn't perfect. The United States isn't perfect. We stole this land. We're on stolen land. And, you know, I believe that all oppressed nations have the right to self-determination. But like that would be like if there was like an ethnic minority living in the UP and we were like putting them in concentration camps, illegally annexing their territory, slaughtering them in the hundreds of thousands, you know, and then saying that we're not like a racist.
You mean like
state.
indigenous
Yeah,
people that we
okay.
get that too already?
Well, yeah.
So,
yeah,
Dane.
but like if we were currently
Yeah,
like
yeah.
actively ongoingly doing
Yeah.
doing
Well,
it.
and there's also the point to be made too that 86% of the Israeli population agrees with what Netanyahu and his regime are doing. So you can't even say that like the populace isn't that way because they are. They agree with this racist policy. That's just a reality of it.
All right.
I don't think that that means that they should be
I
heard.
got something to say on
but-
this. Scoot over.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Right. Actually,
Producer Pete,
For this very
Okay.
reason is why I am very pissed off, because drawing comparisons to I can't read it from here. Can you read it for us?
Drawing comparisons of contemporary Israeli policy to that of the Nazis.
Okay, so how could we not draw that to what Dane just said? How can we not draw that to the comparison of Nazis? Now, it is very much the same of what the Nazis did. And I'm saying that this now because currently today, I am not a Brown County Board supervisor. Since this bill passed, and I'm become Brown County supervisor, bill is going to be used to oust me as a public,
yeah.
elected official.
Yeah.
And
Same thing with Fran, same thing with anybody that's
so I would really love to ask any assembly people or anybody who signed on this bill that since the new law just passed, if they would change their vote. Hindsight 2020.
yeah.
Because right now we can't hold our protest against Israel
Yeah.
because or any of us showing up.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I would love to hear from you. Please email us, call us.
Mm-hmm.
You have our numbers. Call us, because this bill that you guys just put through really fucks us.
Yeah. Certain representatives.
Which also brings up another point to close this whole thing up is vote April 7th.